I need to take a moment to talk about the NFC East. And it's so glad Chanel rolled her eyes. It's so good to have her on this segment. But we'll get to that later, why I actually said that. For now, New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, all the talk about Jalen Hurts and the MVP this and MVP that. But you got these young bulls up over there in New York. They fight, they're scrappy, and Brian the ball above all for some reason. Chanel, when you look at a type of game like this, two NFC East teams that's going against each other, a team that have they found their identity in the New York Giants versus the Philadelphia Eagles that's kind of ready to prove themselves at this juncture with Jalen Hurts. What do you see in this game?
For me, I think if there's any game I'll be comfortable with calling the upset, it really might be this game. Just because what I saw the Giants last week, yes, it was against the Vikings and their defense isn't good. But I saw something in Daniel Jones that I have not seen before. And I think with the Eagles being well rested, that may not be a good thing for them. I think the bye week might hold them up a little bit. Saying that, and they just got Jalen Hurts back the last game. I don't think they were in that rhythm as much. So I think this game is going to be a very, very tough one. I still do think that the Eagles beat the Giants. However, just because of, I think this defense, I don't think that Daniel Jones is going to do what he did against the Minnesota Vikings. He's not going to do the same thing for this, to this Eagles defense. It's not going to happen. But I do think that one thing that kind of separates the Giants is like Brian Daboll has done a job this year. And I know people have been talking about it, but they're not talking about it enough.
He could be coaching the year.
He's taken his team and he's made them look completely different. He's taken Daniel Jones and made Daniel Jones look even different. People are now talking about what contract Daniel Jones is going to have. Like, no one was having that conversation. The conversation before was, what are the Giants going to do at quarterback? But now it's like, how much are they going to pay? Saquon Barkley is looking like Penn State Saquon Barkley. I think this team is just forming at the exact right time. And I think this matchup is going to be perfect. But I do think that the Eagles just have so much power on offense and they're so solid on defense that it might be a little bit too much for the Giants.
Now, here's my point for the Giants. The Eagles have been a really good team this year. There's no doubt about it. The Eagles have been amazing. Offense, Jalen Hurts, amazing. I was a doubter. He's been amazing. MVP candidate. He's not going to get it. But the one thing that the Eagles aren't great at is run defense. The Eagles have a great secondary, but they were middle of the pack this year, run stopping. And so now you have a Saquon Barkley, arguably the best running back in the league. The key to the Giants beating the Eagles is running the ball in time of possession. Keeping the Eagles offense off of the field and running that ball, taking 10 minutes to score a touchdown. If the Giants can control that, and you got a coach that he's been amazing this year. I think he can put a game plan out there to do this. And not to mention, I think there's pressure on the Eagles. You have the bye week. You're the number one seed. Both of your teams outside of football, your baseball team and your soccer team, went to the finals this year. And now the Eagles are number one. You're telling me there's not pressure on the Eagles to get it done? Eagles fans are like, we need this. There's going to be pressure on these Eagles this year. And let's not forget, this has been my main point all year. When has Jalen Hurts showed up in a postseason ball game? College and NFL.
The last time I believe was against Tampa Bay, and they lost 30 something to 15 or something like that. It's like, so he's
never had AJ Brown though. This is a different Jalen Hurts. I feel like what they surrounded him with is changing him as a player. I do agree as far as the run defense for the Eagles, because every team they lost to, they had a top running back. So, well, not every team, also every team they had trouble with, they had a top running back that they were going up against. But if you are the Eagles, if that's all you are looking at as far as the Giants, because the only person that is going to beat you if you are the Eagles is Saquon Barkley. If that's the only thing coming into that game, only person you have to stop is Saquon Barkley. Don't worry about Daniel Jones. He's going to do what, he's not going to beat Justin Fields. That's not going to happen. He might have a few runs here and there, but Saquon Barkley, if you can find a game plan to stop Saquon Barkley, let Daniel Jones do whatever he wants to do. Let him throw it to whoever he wants to throw it to. Like, there's no way. I feel like there's no way.
Well, Chanel,
if they find a game plan.
Chanel, let me ask you, in the terms of a season, and when it comes to how many times you beat a team, and now, albeit the Eagles played the Giants at the end of the year, at the last game, and starters were resting. But does any of the fact that we did sweep the Giants, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. Does any of that play a factor within this game coming up?
No, I don't. I think not. Usually it does, but I feel like not this time, just because the last time they played, like you said, it wasn't really the same team. Like it might be hard to, if you're saying like it's just hard to beat a team as far as saying Giants.
Yeah, like yeah.
It's just a completely different team. You know what I mean? So I feel like because that team that they played week 18 is nothing like who they're gonna play this week. I feel like that's where it gets a little tricky. But usually I would say yeah, because like, of course I gotta throw it out there. Like when the Steelers used to play the Ravens, we're not gonna beat the Ravens 3 times. Like Steelers are not gonna beat the Ravens 3 times. That's not gonna happen. But it was because it was that same team. But because the team was so different, week 18, I don't really count that as them really playing the Giants, just because so many people were sitting, whoever they're gonna see this week is completely different than who they saw week 18.
Got it. And I just had to ask that question because I just know, how the flow goes. But again, that week 18 matchup was so different. For me, I think it's only right to expect Philly to come out with a win during this game. I think there's just this scary factor that, Dayball and the Giants, they're playing with some nasty hands right now. And I think, there's a question of how healthy Jalen Hurts is coming back from the shoulder injury. Obviously, I assumed them to take the leash off and say, hey, go. We're here in the playoffs. You're as healthy as you're going to be to this point. Don't hold back. For me personally, we don't wish injury on anyone, so I do hope that Jalen Hurts will be able to leave that game healthy regardless. But it's containing him, containing what this run game is going to be. AJ Brown in the miraculous job that he's done for that passing game since he stepped in Philadelphia, it has been crazy. I guess I want Giants for reasons that we'll get to. I want Giants.
Because you're being selfish.
No, not being selfish. Hold on now, Chanel. Not being selfish. Now
you running from the smoke.
Am I really? We just caught the smoke like twice with them. Now let's be real. Don't we ain't finna wait now. It's just Jalen Hurts. Like this is the NFL playoffs. You take who you get. You don't get to ask for your matchups. That happened in the season. They missed that when Jalen Hurts was hurt and when Dak was hurt. So we squared that away, right? We broke even with them. Let's move on. So, I really do think that the Eagles will get this. I'm not afraid of them boys in the NFC Championship. This is Spot on Sports. We'll be back in just a little bit.